Welcome back to the Unblocked Circle podcast. I am your host, Nick Zaniboni. It has been a while, Jason. Jason, how the hell are you, buddy?
It's good, man. Good. We've been about, 2 months now. Baseball has completed. The Dodgers are World Series champions, like everyone guessed at the beginning of the season.
Mhm.
They, not too shocking of an outcome here, but we finally have it in the books and it's official. They can now claim a non-asterisk or whatever.
It really is their first one, huh? First
For a while, yeah.
non-sus one, as the kids say. But Jason, me and you have done about the same amount of baseball activity as our teams have. So we need to really hope that the Cubbies and the Sox just kind of figure their shit out. Because today we're going to talk about some signings, some stuff like that. But before that, we need to get to my favorite part of the show. And I've been thinking about this question. I think we spoke last week saying we were going to go live this week. Since then,
Okay.
and I completely forgot about it. Then I got home from work and I saw a gigantic package in front of my house. And it was something I asked for Christmas, and my wife could not pick it up because it was too heavy. So I want you to try and guess what is inside of this package. I'm going to say I even had trouble lifting it. I had to do it's probably like this tall. You need to try and guess what that package was. All right. Play the music. Go. All right, Jason. I've realized during that it's very hard. So I'll give you 3 questions and 3 strikes. You're muted. There we go.
Right. There's a lot of questions that can be asked to narrow this down. Was it a piece of furniture?
It is not a piece of furniture.
Was it clothes?
It is not clothes.
Oh my God. Was it a doghouse?
It is not a doghouse. Those were your 3 questions.
I know. And a guess all in one.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I know you're not a Christmas celebrator, so I can't even say a Christmas tree.
Oh no, we are Christmas celebrators. We're a Christmas house.
Okay.
The tree is already up. So
that was my first guess, was Christmas tree. That was my only guess, actually.
If I had to guess about an actual weight, it's probably over 100 pounds. Maybe not 100. Like between 80 and 100 pounds, this weight.
A new dishwasher.
No. You're getting closer, though. It's kind of an appliance, but it's an outdoor appliance.
A grill. A Blackstone.
Blackstone.
Let's go.
We're getting the Blackstone going.
You joined the Blackstone Club.
I did. Because we have a backyard now. I was like, and I don't want to grill. So I was like, you know what? Let's just try this. These are like a thing. They're relatively cheap. So I'm excited. And hopefully this summer I can maybe show you some things I cooked up.
You're going to start doing some TikToks like that one guy. Like, today we're making smash burgers on the Blackstone.
Yeah. I love the breakfast videos. They just have like bacon everywhere. Oh yeah.
So I've been a Blackstone owner for about a year and a half now. Don't use it nearly as much as I should. But one of my favorite things to cook on it is breakfast, because you can do it all at once.
Because it's all on one thing. You got the space. Like we don't entertain like a bunch of people. So like I don't need to. It's just a 28-incher. It's not like one of the like huge ones.
That's like just the 2 burners?
Or
3?
I think it's 3.
Okay.
I'm unsure though. I can't open it until Christmas, but she couldn't get it inside the house, so I had to move it.
I'm just a modest two gas burner on my Blackstone.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll come back with more information on my Blackstone.
All right. Well, before we get into the topic of the pod tonight, I want to real quick shout out. Over here at Fantasy Six Pack, you can become a member. You get access to all the great stuff we have going on over there. But for all access members, including right now fantasy football, right? Fantasy football playoffs are kicking off. You want to get access to? I think Joe's still he's at least top 3. At one point, he was like the best ranker for fantasy football rankings weekly. You want to get those rankings and more, you can become an all-access member today at fantasysixpack.net/plans. That's the business side of things. Why don't you go ahead and I think we were talking a little bit pregame here about how one of your leagues ended here, and we're all kind of curious on some of these league outcomes.
All right, Jason. The only thing grosser than this league outcome is the return for Andres Jimenez, which was Nick Sandlin and Spencer Horwitz, who I think we've talked about Spencer Horwitz like 3 years ago, being like, oh, this could be a guy to buy soon.
Yeah. We'll get more into that here coming up. But
yes, it just came across my desk. But here we go. So, as you know, we are avid Dynasty players. And we use Fantrax. Love me some Fantrax. Have you ever won on Fantrax, Jason?
I cannot say I have not. I came in second.
Okay. So when you win, you do know this because you've been on a page when someone wins. There's like the banner that says it, whatever. Great.
Yep.
So if you do recall, towards the end of last season, the Mets and who did the Mets play?
Braves, maybe?
Mets and the Braves.
I believe it was Mets and Braves. That extra game?
Correct. They had to play an extra game on that Monday. The Monday after the season ended. So there was a specific owner that I was discussing with. I was like, hey, because the league managers were just like, just figure it out. So we talked, and we basically came to the conclusion of like, I'm fine with not playing it. He's fine with not playing it. But then the league managers were like, we're playing it. So we played it.
In fairness, this was not like a game 163. This was part of the 162 games. There was a hurricane, I believe, right? And they had to postpone the weekend games from Saturday, Sunday to like Monday.
Exactly.
So for purposes of roto leagues, most roto leagues are 162 games.
Yes.
So it would make sense, especially if your team was highly owned with Mets players or Braves players. You would want those stats to count on Monday.
So that was discussed. However, I had Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz. He had Ozzie Albies and Iglesias. So, like, those are pretty, like,
big
right
names
down the middle. So then Monday morning happens. I'm looking over my lineup. I believe it was like down to the wire. It was like 7-5 me or something. And I'm looking at the OBP, and I was up like 4 points in the OBP, and I was like, should I start Alonso? Should I not? I start my guys because that's just what I'm not going to sit him, because I'd rather start and lose than sit him and lose.
Yeah.
So I get there. The last at bat is Pete Alonso. He grounds out. I'm winning by 0.01 OBP. Little did I know, in the 7th inning, one Ozzie Albies grounded out to shortstop. On the play, was ruled an out. Was ruled a ground out. However, after the game was over, after my name was on that homepage, they said, nah, that was an error. Or, yes. Yeah. Boop, goes up that 0.2 OBP, and that is how I lose, Jason.
Oh.
And this was so bad. it took me like days to like get over it. And like, yes, there is the money thing of it, but like it's 24 teams. And I explained to my wife felt bad because I
Mhm.
was like, I put so much effort in for so long. It's such a grind. It's not like football when it's just like Sundays. This is like an everyday thing.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like a gut punch. But now this is just going to be my villain origin story. I'm just going to become like an asshole. Greatest way. Just like turn heel on everyone. And ideally it leads to championships. But yeah, so that
That's
was
brutal.
it was tough for me, but you know what? I'm already going on to next year. I'm ready to make some moves. I'm ready to listen to you. I'm ready to talk to you. I love bouncing ideas off you. I don't know
Yep.
what's too early to bounce ideas off of you, but whew, that was a tough one for me.
Well, the good thing is right now we're on to next season, and the next season doesn't start without free agency. And baseball's weird where free agency just kind of runs the whole off season. It's really weird. I hate it. But we do have the winter meetings going on this week, and usually, generally, and we're already seeing it now, a lot of activity takes place during these winter meetings. Some of the stuff has already taken. A lot of these things have taken place before the winter meetings. I think the winter meetings started like today or yesterday. I think they start mostly today. I think a lot of yesterday was like travel days for a lot of these GMs and stuff like that. So today is like the main day where winter meetings kick off. I think they're in Florida again this year. That's where they usually are. We've already had some activity, like I said. So wheels up for 2025. It's time to start thinking about your 2025 league. We already did a dynasty. I mean, we already did a mock draft for fantasy baseball on the website. Me and you were both a part of that. You should go ahead and check out that article on the website. Super fun. Always fun getting into like super early mocks and seeing where ADPs fall and where these guys are going and stuff like that. But this week we're going to talk about some of the early signings that we've had so far in free agency and what we think about, you know, their new places and just the overall MLB landscape going into 2025. And I think let's just go ahead and get out in front of everything here and jump out to, like, you know, the one that everyone's been talking about, and that's Juan Soto. Literally the main one thing too, I shout out with Juan Soto is he didn't drag this out till like
Nope.
February, January, because
Hey,
this is the
I
guy
want
that like,
money as soon as possible.
yeah, last few years I feel like some of these bigger name guys have just like sat back and just dragged out because like a lot of the free agency relies on this player. Baseball's weird where like markets get set based, you know, there's no salary cap, so like the big name guys kind of set the market. So everyone's waiting for Soto to sign, so then that way they can sign too. But lo and behold, everyone kind of saw this coming, breaks records, signs a 15-year, $765 million deal, full no trade clause, 50 million AAV, largest contract, not just MLB history, but professional sports history. Shocking to say the least. But one of the shocking things I think, which not just with this contract, but with a lot of them, no deferred money so far, which
Yeah.
is huge because everyone with the Shohei Ohtani deal last year was wondering, and me included, was the deferred money going to be something we saw going forward and hindering how teams outlook on their free agency and their accounting and their books like that. But not with Daddy Cohen. He said, let's give him that money up front. We ain't chumps. We're signing this man to the biggest deal in sports history. Now, Soto is coming off his best offensive year, and he also had a strong case for MVP over his teammate Aaron Judge. He recorded he recorded more walks than strikeouts in each of the last 5 seasons. He's led the majors in walks 3 out of the last four times throughout his career. Still only 26 years old. So he's theoretically entering the peak performance years of his career. So, I mean, good on the Mets for getting him now versus like, you know, when he's 31 or whatever, you know, some of these other teams are getting these guys at high rates for later in their career. They're essentially getting him at his peak. But what were your thoughts on Juan Soto going to the Mets?
Jason, there were many emotions in this. I genuinely bought the Kool-Aid that the Red Sox were going to sign.
We talked about it.
We did. And this is going to turn into me being anti-Red Sox, so forgive me for that. They were $65 million away from what the Mets offered. To me, that's not being in on the player. Mm-hmm. That is you knowing the market, saying, well, we offered $700 million. What do you want us to do? Because $700 million is an ungodly amount of money. Fully aware of that. But they knew that wasn't going to get it done. They knew it would get the headlines, though.
Yep.
I think I just read for Freed, who we will talk about. They were $40 million off. Again, they're just making offers just to make offers, and I don't know if I'm worried it's gonna be more of the same. So that pisses me off. But my second thing is so happy that he went to the Mets because fuck the Yankees.
Yeah.
But he's gonna be great there. I really hope they bring back Pete Alonso because that lineup could be something scary. That could be better than the Yankees line, like easily better than the Yankee lineup because they only have like 3 guys that can hit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, dude, he's so good.
Yeah, I mean, the Mets kind of came out of nowhere at the end, got really hot at the end of the year last year, made it all the way to the NLCS, almost made it. Well, I shouldn't say almost. They got beat up pretty badly by the Dodgers in the NLCS, but yeah, there's a good chance, Alonso comes back. They still got Lindor under contract. And it's not just Soto right now, right? The Mets have been out there spending early. They've already signed Frankie Montas. They've already signed Clay Holmes. Like I said, we just talked about possibly re-signing Alonso.
They're using Clay Holmes as a starter, which is wild.
Yeah. A little bit of shocking sometimes we see some of these teams turn relievers back into starters. Be interesting to see what they can get out of Clay Holmes. But yeah, it's not just Soto that they've kind of opened the checkbooks for already. Cohen, I think, got a little bit of taste of the playoffs. Is this the first time the Mets have made the playoffs under Cohen ownership? Yeah, I think so. So I think Cohen kind of got that little bit of taste in his mouth for what it would be like to get not only to the playoffs but the World Series and even to win a World Series. And he was like, "Let's open up the checkbooks. Let's go out there. Let's make a splash. Let's get Juan Soto." And good for Juan Soto. I mean, look at right here. Look at his StatCast page. It's just like insane. Like, I talked about earlier with leading the walks and his approach at the plate. He's not just a singles hitter. I mean, he hits for power too. He's had back-to-back years of 35+ home runs. And he arguably had his best season yet when he had I did help that he was in part of the Yankees lineup, but he put up I think 250 RBIs plus runs. Again, career 400+ OBP. This guy is, I mean, literally, I wanted to pull it up. I forgot to actually. He's this day and age is Ted Williams.
No,
he's just insane.
It's wild.
He's worth
every penny.
Every penny. And the only reason he's getting a little bit more than Ohtani is because he's a little bit better at the plate. Now, not,
he's younger.
As far as approach.
Yeah. And he's just younger,
Yep.
like he can play the field. Well,
yep.
He can kind of play the field.
Yeah.
but that's neither here nor there.
Yep. Exactly. And he gets to stay in New York where he, played last season in New York. So he's used to the media and the fans like that. So I think this is a home run for both sides. It's great for the Mets, great for Soto, and I can't wait to see out now. Full no trade clause and fully guaranteed. I think not fully, but most of it's guaranteed.
75
for 15 years. He'll be 39. This has all the makings of Albert Pujols on the Angels those last few years, where it's just like, man, what did we do to ourselves? Mets fans are going to be so mad at this contract in 10 years. They're going to be like, what are we doing? But hey, they'll worry about that in 10 years when they may have a couple World Series under their belt.
Yeah, exactly. Flags fly forever. And he's going to be so good. And he can DH soon. Once he's 32, he'll probably just be DHing.
Yeah. Like I said, it says all the makings of the Albert Pujols deal when he went to the Angels. But we'll go from him, a little bit smaller of a name, but still for a lot of fancy replications here. Tyler O'Neill leaves your Boston Red Sox and goes to the Baltimore Orioles, 3 years, $46 million. Again, Boston loses one of its big offensive pieces when he's healthy, which has always been O'Neill's problem the last few seasons, has been his availability, just in and out of that lineup. However, when he's in, it's phenomenal numbers, especially the power numbers. And I think the biggest fit for this right now is going to the Baltimore Orioles is they are basically going to lose Santander, and now they have nothing but left-handed hitters in the outfield with guys like Colton Cowser, Cedric Mullins, Heston Kjerstad, and I guess you could even say Ryan O'Hearn, but those are all left-handed hitters. They have no one to hit right-handed, and then not only do they not have any right-handed hitters, they signed O'Neill, who's just destroyed left-handed pitching. It's going to be a massive boost to the heavy left-handed hitting lineup in the Orioles. I think it's a great fit. A little bit of a veteran presence in that young Baltimore lineup, which we saw do Austin regular season, come playoff. They just kind of look way underachieved in the playoffs. What do you think about the signing of O'Neill?
I'm bummed. I really wanted the Sox to keep him, but they just have so much outfield they have so many just outfielders in general. So I get it. I'd rather keep Duran, but yeah, he's gonna probably do great there. Just make sure you bet on him to hit a home run on opening day. I think he's done it 6 straight seasons or some shit like that. Whenever he's played, it's just wild stuff. But yeah, I'll probably go to some Orioles games down in Baltimore. So I'll maybe buy a Tyler O'Neill tee.
Oh, did we ever? I don't remember if we talked about your appearance at Camden Yards.
Yes, yeah.
We did.
Full food breakdown. I had crab cakes.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's all coming back to me now.
Yeah,
no, I think another great signing for both player and team. Perfect, great fit. Again, obviously, it would have been cool for him to stay in Boston as well, as we saw him do really well in Boston. And actually, the one thing that everyone was banking on, like after the last, not 2024, but 2023, was so close to getting that 2020 potential. But I think we're going to see more of that speed come back. Being in Baltimore likes to run. They're not afraid to run. I think we might see some of that speed come back for Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it for both, again, for the player and the team. Next guy here we're going to talk about is another one of the big names that kind of got out here in free agency. That's Willy Adames, going for 7 years, $182 million to the San Francisco Giants. He was basically the top shortstop available on the market this winter. He goes to a team that's been candid about its desire to upgrade the position. They've now done so by bringing in one of the league's steadiest players on both sides of the ball to handle the position. Not only offensively has he been really solid for Milwaukee in the past, and even his time at Tampa, but defensively he's really solid. Now joins that left side of that diamond, the Giants diamond, with teaming up with Matt Chapman. That defensive on the left-hand side of that diamond is going to be awesome. I think this is a really good deal. This is a classic Giants deal where they kind of find these guys that are just fit their mold. Adames fits their mold. He plays really good defense. Is above average bat. Really like what he brings to the table for San Francisco Giants. What do you got to say about the Adames signing?
I'll say he's older than I thought. He's almost 30. That's kind of so. But they love their old shortstops there. So he's gonna beat Brendan Crawford in 5 years. It's just kind of what it is. But yeah, he's someone that's I feel has been undervalued. Sneaky 32 homers last year. Definitely a great player. It's such a, but like you said, he's just a Giants guy. They're gonna sign him. They're gonna probably sign Corbin Burns if we're being completely honest. And I just think the Giants are just gonna be. They're just steadily good. They haven't been awful, but they haven't been great. But I think we saw last year they made those signings at the end of the year, at the end of the offseason with Chapman and Snell. I think it was Snell was at the end, right?
Yeah.
So they're getting the money going early, and I think they're going to be good. It just sucks because they're not going to. They're going for the wild card. So you're just competing with the Padres, hoping to be better than them. And on paper, they probably are, but I don't know. I'm excited just to see what happens.
Yeah, this is weird. They usually don't sign these big name. Usually, the Giants typically always go for pitching. That's always been their MO. I feel like for the last 20 years, maybe longer, they just kind of get these like a little bit slightly above average hitters and then just dominate you with pitching. So to lose Blake Snell and then as of right now, not replace him with anything. But the lineup needed a huge upgrade because as of right now, I'm now look for Adames going forward, even for regular baseball and fantasy purposes. Huge downgrade from that Brewers lineup to go to the Giants lineup now. I would see a down tick in not only the home runs because he's going to a worse ballpark, but as well as runs and RBIs, we'll see a tick down as well. I don't really know if I love this deal for fantasy purposes for Willy Adames, but I mean, real baseball, this is a great deal, I think, for both player and hitter, or team. But fantasy wise, I don't know. I'm gonna push Adames down the rankings slightly a little bit just from where he's going, where he came from to where he's going. What do you think, fantasy wise? Uptick from the or down tick?
It's probably close to just being the same. But the only thing I do worry about is the team. The Giants are just so weird because they're just like jacks of all trades but masters of none. So like they just have like that kid. I don't know if we talked about him, but Fitzgerald was just kind of randomly very good. So like I think this is gonna move him over to second, like as their second baseman, which is fine.
Yep.
But it really just like Chapman is very streaky. Adames also kind of streaky. So like just they need to just make sure they're hitting the right spots here. And obviously it's good to I would fucking be running in the streets if the Red Sox signed Willy Adames. So like I just don't even know how to feel things anymore because they haven't signed anybody in God knows how long.
I mean, that's one thing that me and you can connect on is it is just our teams have just decided to not do anything in free agency anymore. And especially, I mean, more so the Cubs and the Red Sox. At least the Red Sox have done some.
Yes, yeah.
Some deals in the last couple of years. The Cubs have done absolutely nothing. When Cody Bellinger is your biggest signing in the last like 3-4 years, it's just awful. I mean, the championship window on my team is just completely just slammed shut. The Ricketts really out here won one title, and we're like, nah, we're good, man. We're just gonna keep upgrading our stadium and around our stadium, and then we'll continue to rake in billions of dollars while you guys continue to come to every game and sell out every game. Yep. This slightly above average team. But we don't have time to go into too much depth on how bad the spending of the Red Sox and the Cubs have been. Let's get back into some free agent signings that I actually have signed. And one of the other bigger ones that I kind of wanted to spread out here on the show is Blake Snell goes to the Dodgers for 5 years, $182 million. And what do you know? The Dodgers are back up to their old ways and they're deferring some of that money. They're deferring $65 million of that $182 million. I think that's roughly around like $13 million a year they're deferring. I don't know how or why nobody else does this or how the Dodgers can convince these players to take this deferred money. But if I'm a millionaire, multi-millionaire, I'd probably take some of that deferred money too, because it's probably going to come like Bobby Bonilla style, where you're getting it like 20 years down the road. It's like a pension plan, basically. But we just talked a little bit about Blake Snell earlier with the Giants. Had a really bad start to the season. He struggled with injuries, missed a lot of time, but he did rebound nicely in the second half of the season. He's arguably one of the best pitchers in baseball down the stretch. He was even, there was some outside chance that he might even get some Cy Young consideration yet again, just because of how good he was down the stretch for the Giants. However, the numbers were still weighed down to some extent by his terrible first 2 months. He had ended the year with a 3.12 ERA, 35% strikeout rate, over 20 starts. Still at 104 innings, though, which is good enough for like an SP 3 or 4. This is a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. He's won the award in both AL and NL League. He's always been a solid arm for fantasy, high strikeout potential. He's got a career 30% strikeout rate. Also contributes solid ratios in the ERA and the WHIP department. And now his value gets a huge boost by going to the best team in the league in a solid rotation that includes Glasnow and Yamamoto. The rich get richer in the Dodgers. And there's also an outside chance that, what do you know, Shohei Ohtani might even join that as a sixth man rotation and do some spot starts for the Dodgers. This is, to me, in my opinion, slam dunk, especially with the Dodgers being able to defer some of this money. Like I said, the rich get richer. Love Snell staying in California. Love him going to the Dodgers. Going to be a huge boost. Wish I would have pulled up his ADP in that mock because he should probably be going as a top 10 or 15 SP right now.
Yeah, this is someone that I recognize is good. I'm fully aware. I'm not going to touch Blake Snell anywhere. I haven't touched Blake Snell in years. It might cost me things, but he's just someone that I just kind of, I don't know if it's the look of him or what, but I always feel like, yeah, I'm out on him no matter what. He's going to be great. He might win the Cy Young, but no.
I mean, shout out to Blake Snell giving us one of the best moments in recent history when he was traded for a couple
slapdick.
I know he gave. And was it him that was traded or somebody on his team? They were traded a bunch of slapdick.
I believe they traded somebody, and he goes, "Oh, we got some slapdick prospects or some shit like that."
Yeah, that's what it was. Somebody on his team. I think I don't remember. I think it was when he was on Tampa Bay at the time, and they traded away. And he was like, "Oh, what did we get in return? A bunch of slapdick prospects or some shit." And I was dying laughing. That was like an all-time moment. I think even what's the t-shirt company? RotoWear has shirts that still to this day they sell for, let's say, slapdick prospects. Awesome moment in MLB history over the last 5 years. But yeah, I mean, look at the StatCast page. I mean, this is a solid contributor. Like I said, top rotation SP. I wouldn't put him up there in that fancy SP ace, but I would definitely have him as like an SP2 top. I'd put him just outside the top 10, 12 starting pitchers for fantasy purposes. Maybe even a little bit of a boost now going to the Dodgers. I might even put him at that back end of the top 10 or top 12.
Yeah, so I looked up what the trade was.
Okay.
It was Xavier Edwards. He called a slapdick.
Oh, okay. Which, as of right now,
yeah, I mean, maybe Blake Snell he could be a good evaluator.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some small flashes from Edwards, but for the most part right now, a little bit of a slapdick.
I wouldn't call this a blockbuster, honestly. So it was Edwards and Renfroe for Tommy Pham.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, shout out Blake Snell for slapdick prospecting, and shout out for the Dodgers for somehow continuing to make these moves and defer money to give them even more flexibility going forward. And I think we're to the point now. We've seen changes in a lot of these big name sports, whether it be the NFL or the NCAA or some way to monetize people and things like that. Like, we've got to get. I think it's time that MLB puts in a hard salary cap. None of this like old luxury tax or things like this. I know that there's profit sharing and things like that, but they've got to come to a conclusion somewhere along the lines here in the next couple of years where there's got to be put a salary cap in place. I'm sick of seeing these rich teams get richer just because they make the most revenue and have the most flexibility in their deals. Let's get a salary cap in the MLB. It's time. It's 2024. Let's get this on the road. Let's get this all firmed up. Every other sport does it except for baseball. I don't know why baseball wants to be different and does some all this weird stuff.
It's just too much of like the rich thing, you know?
Yeah. It's a lot of that like
there needs to be a floor too, though. Like there needs to be because these teams are getting way. Oh, hold on. Are we talking about what's his name? Severino or no?
No, I wasn't going to just because it's like such a weird
the highest paid player in Oakland A history.
That was wild. And it was also weird that like he was one of the first free agents to sign. He was like, screw it, I'm just gonna go to Oakland. Well, it's not even Oakland. I think they're going to like Sacramento or I don't know where they're going. And he's like, screw it, I'm just gonna take all this money, go live in California. I don't care versus some shitty ass team. Couple more topics here real quick. I think for dynasty purposes, this is more to speculation on what you think is going to happen. One of the biggest names to be posted. Everyone's been seeing these huge stars from the NPB, the Japan's Nippon Baseball League, come over and have success. Shoto Imanaga, Yamamoto. I mean, the list keeps going on and on of these guys having success. The newest guy here is Roki Sasaki. He is considered. I've got to, again, MLB with all these weird rules. He's under 26 years old, so he's considered an amateur, I think is what I was reading. So he has to be posted internationally and be bid on. So we've basically been posted comes with a 40-day window, and they to come up to a deal with an MLB team. And if he doesn't have one by January 23rd, he has to then return to Japan on the NPB. So he will most likely be he's already been posted. He will most likely sign with an MLB team. Yeah. Let me get it real quick. Off the top of your head, no in-depth analysis. Where does he sign?
Mariners.
Oh, I like it. I was gonna say Yankees, but now that they just got Max Fried,
yep.
I'm not sure if that's possible anymore. No. That's a lot of money in that rotation, so maybe he doesn't go to them anymore. I like the Mariners call. Two things I didn't put on the line because it happened as the news broke as I was setting up the live stream. We just kind of talking about Max Fried to the Yankees, 8 years, $218 million. The Yankees are now going to go on a spending spree after, they basically allocated $760 million to Soto. They miss out on that. They now are like, we have $760 million in our pocket to spend. Let's go spend it. 200 of it going to Max Fried, which is kind of a lot. But again, we've seen it time and time again, especially even this year already. The market's up. Pitching market is up. Pitchers are getting paid. Matt Boyd. Pitchers are getting paid. So to me, it's not that shocking. I think the market's just up right now. But Max Fried's also 31 years old. Gets an 7 or 8 year deal. Yankees fans are going to hate this guy in 3 years after he's already,
They're going to hate him in 2. It's going to be, what's his name? They just signed him.
Yeah, exactly. So that broke while we were setting up, and then another big trade just went down, and it was the Blue Jays. I missed. Do you have it in front of you still? Hold on, I gotta pull it up. It was the Blue Jays.
Sent Sandlin. No, they sent Spencer Horwitz.
Yep.
And is that it?
A second baseman or somebody? Oh no, it was a pitcher.
Yes, I thought I said Sandlin, but he
played
for them, doesn't he? Doesn't he play for the Guardians? Hold on, this is bad.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, anyways, Andres Jimenez is going to Toronto. Somewhat of a first move here at the winter meetings. Like I said, we're starting to get some activity here. With the winter meetings in full effect right now. So that was another deal that just broke about an hour ago. Before we get out of here, let's talk about our 2024 prediction show we did at the beginning of the year. Do you have your predictions ready and available from what we talked about?
I wrote these up. I wrote them all down today. Do you know what's awful? Listening to your own podcast at work.
Oh, brutal.
I really hope no one walks by and sees me looking at myself right now.
Yeah. All right, let's go down the list. Who is
right.
What's the first award that we're gonna?
All right, so we had for World Series. You had Phillies.
Okay.
Over Mariners.
Okay.
I had Orioles over Dodgers. Oh no, you had the Mariners to beat the Phillies in 7 to be exact.
Okay.
Then I had the Orioles beating the Dodgers.
Not bad.
Yeah. Next, we had for AL Rookie of the Year, Wyatt Langford was for you.
Okay.
Mine was Cedine Rafaela. However, in my rant about Rafaela, I landed exactly on his home run total. I said, if he can get me 15 home runs, I'm happy. That's exactly what he did. So going into next season, if Rafaela hits 30 home runs, I will be happy.
No one even considered the name that won in Luis Heel. No one saw that coming, so can't even blame us for that.
NL Rookie of the Year, Mason Wynn for you.
Okay.
And then I stayed in the NL Central with Jared Jones.
Not too far off from yours either. Just a teammate of his.
Yeah. Next, AL Cy Young for you, Pablo Lopez.
Brutal.
Corbin Burns also did not win, but I think was in the top something.
Yeah.
NL, Zach Gallen for you.
Man, I like the
Tyler Glass now. He did not get the Cy Young. Next, MVP for the AL from Jason was Julio Rodriguez.
awful.
I picked Soto, also did not win.
Yep.
NL, Freddie Freeman for you. And then I picked Spencer Strider, who got hurt. So
Yeah. Well, that's fun. I like that. I do vividly go ahead.
I'm glad I went back and got
even
I got this without even you asking me. Look at that.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll have to do that again for 2025.
Yeah,
but I do vividly remember too. We were not picking five favorites. Yeah. like Aaron Judge won the MVP and Ohtani won the MVP. I'm pretty sure we were like, we're not going to pick those guys because there was good chances that they were already the favorites to win. So take that into consideration when you look at our predictions for 2025 as well. We're not going to sit up here and give you, Juan Soto again and some other top candidates. We're trying to find a little bit of some dark horses on those predictions, but
that's what we do. We're here for the dark
horse. Right. All right. Well, hey, that was a good show back.
Yeah.
Hopefully again, when we meet again, we will have some more free agencies to talk about. We can also, I think we should dive into this mock draft that we did.
Yeah, man.
Talk about some of these early ADP. There were some big shocks there. I thought there was a couple of chalk. There was a lot of chalk, but there was a lot of the players that were like, wow, this guy fell or this guy rose. So definitely glad to see what we can go for that one.
I think my favorite part of the mock was after like round 5, you texted me and you were like, dude, are you not picking? And I said, no, I am trying something new. 5 starting pitchers.
Well, everyone in the draft chat was like, is Mr. Zero Pitcher literally starting off his draft with 3 or 4 straight
it was 4
pitchers? Which, in hindsight, I should have realized it is a mock draft, and we're trying out different things and finding ADP. Yeah. So it's not a big shock. It shouldn't have been a big shock.
Look at value later. See if you got to find the value within each year. Yep. Maybe this year's the value is all in. Like if your best hitter is Brent Rooker and he's your power hitter, maybe that works. He hits 40 homers and you're good.
Exactly.
We'll find out.
All right, Nick. Good talking to you. We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.